Hello, welcome or welcome back. My name is Ari and let's spend a little bit of time talking about Dritz today. So I think overall this video should be pretty short because this is it. This was originally published as 3 books called The Stowaway, The Shadow Mask, and The Sentinels. But when it was combined into this format in, I want to say like 2013, though that date could be a little bit off, it was just combined into one book and there's no real way to differentiate like which book was originally which. It does have like the part 1 thing, but it goes to part 9, not part 3, so that doesn't really tell you anything, and there's no mention of like the titles of the original book in here. So this reads like one single book. I also recommend that if you're looking for this, unless you're a collector, you want to just purchase this one book. It's going to be much, much less expensive for you to grab just this book. And this one's also easy to find while the other ones are hard as hell to find. Even if you get it in like an ebook format, you can buy this on Amazon as an ebook for $7.99, and if you buy them in individual parts, they're $9.99 each. So there is no reason to not read this as one book if you're going to decide to read it. Now, let's get into deciding to read this part. Like, how does this fit into the overall Dritz universe, and should you pick it up if you're reading Dritz? So how this fits in is this takes place in the same time frame as the Halfling's Gem, which if you remember last month's video, that was the very last book in last month's trilogy. You get crossover in this book with the events of the Halfling's Gem from when Wulfgar and Dritz get on a boat in Waterdeep? Is that where they get on the boat? Well, when they get on the boat and they're going from Waterdeep to Baldur's Gate and then down to I don't remember what the last city that they did, but the character featured in here is in Baldur's Gate, and he stows away on the same ship that Dritz and Wulfgar are on. And so that's where your crossover is. Dritz is only featured in this book to tie this in to the Dritz universe. Like, Dritz is not a main character. He could have been written out of the story and you would have had the exact same story for the most part. And yeah, Dritz doesn't have a purpose in here other than if you're a fan of Dritz, you're going to want to read this to be like a completionist, right? That's not saying that this story is bad by any means. It's the good typical of R.A. Salvatore. Like the Halfling's Gem in that series was very controlled on how he was allowed to write on it, and I didn't appreciate the producers of that series like controlling how Salvatore writes. This he was not controlled on, and he has a lot more freedom to have like a lot more creative freedom, I guess I should say, and just creating a better story overall that is not just like hit these exact points with no elaboration. What this story is about is there is a young boy, what was his name? The main character's name is Mayman, which means twice lucky, and he was blessed or cursed with Tymora's favor as a infant, right? So Tymora, if you're not familiar with like the Dungeons and Dragons, is the goddess of luck. And people blessed with Tymora's favor are lucky people, good luck. There's her twin sister, Bathsheba, I think, Bathsheba, I don't remember, is the goddess of bad luck. So you're blessed with good luck, but being blessed with good luck is not really all it turns out to be normally. So this, having him in Tymora's favor, creates a very interesting circumstance where R.A. Salvatore can write in a way where when you need things to go into the character's favor and they get a little bit lucky, in order to like further the plot, he could write that off so easily in this book is like, yeah, he's lucky that he blocked that sword or he tripped at the right time because he's blessed with Tymora's luck. Like, that's the entire purpose. So it's really, really fun to have an excuse to like write all of these like convenient plot points and know that it's like, yeah, he's lucky. That's the whole fucking point of it. So you follow him on his adventures of being lucky. He has a stone, the stone of Tymora, and the stone of Tymora blesses people with Tymora's luck at the cost of the luck of people around them. So people want to be lucky, so they're trying to kill him and steal the stone, right? So, and luck only goes so far. Like, you can get lucky, but if you have no skill to back that luck, then there's nothing to get lucky about. So it's a very interesting concept overall. And this, I would say, is more of like a young adult book. He is writing this with his son, Gino Salvatore. Even though Gino, I think, is like a college-age kid here, the protagonist in this book is 13 years old. So this is more targeted towards a young audience, maybe as like an introduction to like Dritz for a younger age. So overall, story's fine, not like the best thing I've ever read by Salvatore. There's better, and I don't know that you really have to read this to like complete the Dritz universe. Like, these characters are not going to come up again, and anything that does come up in later books has already been covered in the Halfling's Gem. So if you're just interested in reading something a little bit more pitched to young adults, or you're interested in reading about the goddess Tymora and then you like Dritz, so you kind of like having him featured in the book, then sure, read this. But if you're just like, I only want to read Dritz and things that really matter for the Dritz universe, skip over this one. This isn't very important. It's just kind of like a side quest, as it were. From that point, let's go over like things that I didn't like, because there are two things about this book that really, really bothered me. First, do you see how freaking small this text is? This is like 6-point font. This is tiny. Reading this was one of the most annoying things I've ever done, and it gave me a headache because the font is just so absurdly small, and there's no reason for the font to be small. Look how much margin space you've got over here, where you could have made this bigger, or even just made the damn book thicker. Like, that's not gonna hurt anybody. There's no reason for the font in this book to be as small as it is. The other thing that bothered me, and this might just be like me being an old woman, but there was a romance in here between two 13-year-old children. And I don't know about y'all, but I am not here for romances between little kids. Like, that's skeevy. And it didn't go anywhere. It's like, he kissed her once, and then she was like, we just need to be friends. And then that was the end of it. But this like buildup of like a crush and kissing and stuff like that just wasn't something that I want to read about a 13-year-old. So, I think that basically covers everything y'all need to know about this book. It's a slow month. Next month will be much more robust because we've got 5 books instead of 1. So if you are interested in hearing more about Dritz, and specifically the Cleric Quintet next month, go ahead and subscribe so you'll see when that video comes up, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye!